case you're new to the channel or you're not sure yet, we're out of northern Utah, so this is at Pick Apart in Ogden, and this was actually a couple months ago, so that's why there's still snow on the ground. I had been going down to Pick Apart from Logan and checking various cars on the lot, seeing if they were compatible with what we were trying to accomplish, and I came across this 3.5 liter V6 Dodge Charger, 2008, same year. Lower mileage on the motor is what the Pick Apart told us, so I thought it was a good fit. Had the same transmission, so our bell housing should be able to bolt up. I got Carl talked into it. We get down here and we're working on this car. We've taken off a bunch of stuff on the top of it, on the front of it and everything. We get under it and lo and behold, it's an all-wheel drive model. Neither of us were aware that there was even an all-wheel drive V6. So it was quite the surprise for us. And at some point in the footage you'll see Carl calling his wife to ask her if she can check the car at home to see if it's an all-wheel drive or just a rear-wheel drive, and I wasn't sure how she'd even be able to tell the difference. But lo and behold, we figured out that the one we had was rear-wheel drive, which meant we didn't need the all-wheel drive model. So we weren't sure what to do initially, but we ended up realizing that the all-wheel drive part just bolts onto the oil pan, and a shaft that connects the front all-wheel drive components runs through the oil pan. So I figured as long as we pulled the motor, we could just swap the oil pan and it should be a viable motor for us. Well, as you've seen in the previous videos, we didn't end up going that route and just swapping the motor. We ended up tearing the original motor down to see what was wrong with it initially. Ended up fixing and rebuilding that one. But either way, it has been quite beneficial to have this motor, because I've ended up needing a connecting rod from it, a piston from it, a cam sprocket from it. Now, if you've watched my most recent video, you know the piston rings didn't seat due to one of the head bolts being stripped and the oil pump on this car having circulated metal particles through it due to the bearing that got disintegrated. I think it'll be much better to build up this Pick Apart motor. Now, this excursion for us to acquire this motor took us 3 days. It was much more than we anticipated to take on the all-wheel drive. Very tight, confined spaces. The conditions weren't preferable. As you can see, we're working in about 40 degrees the first day. The second day, it starts snowing, and snowed for, I don't know, maybe an hour or two. The third day we ended up coming in determined, and we finally got it out. Transmission and all, we weren't planning on taking the transmission, but due to 3 bolts that we just didn't quite have the right equipment for, we ended up taking the transmission as well. But as we started taking on this vehicle, Carl was essentially handling the engine bay or the top things that needed to be worked on, and I was handling underneath and getting everything undone from the bottom. At some point during the first day, Carl made a trip to the store to pick up some wrenches and a set of pickle forks that actually came in extreme handy. That was definitely a worthwhile purchase. Conditions on either side were certainly not preferable. You'll see us literally up in the engine bay multiple times, leaning on our knees. Down on the ground, there's wet spots, puddles. I'm laying in rocks. There was a couple points on the second day where basically all the heat was pulled out of my body. So I'm not sure if you'll see it on camera. I think I specifically did it off camera, but I was doing jumping jacks to warm up. When we came back the third day, they had ended up moving the car on us. The third day was actually pretty warm. I think it ended up being around 55 to 60 degrees. Sun out, blue skies. All in all, it wasn't too bad. Neither of us are professional mechanics. We're both quite knowledgeable when it comes to using tools and working on cars. So with that in mind, we just kept working at it, solving one thing at a time, and never gave up, and eventually got it. I wasn't exactly sure how to film this endeavor. As you can see, the conditions are muddy. There's literally puddles under the car that I was laying in at different times. I didn't want to get my phone or any of my video equipment dirty or anything, so I didn't end up talking to the camera much and explaining much exactly what's going on, but I also don't feel the need to cut any of the footage, and so I've included all the footage and it's just sped up to 3000%. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one.
Bet you never know. Say we have the power, but there's things we touch the road. Tell them say we ready, clip them on the cut she load. Shoulda know say we no regular, anything we ready for. Bet you never know, bet you never know. Nah go take no talk, I beg no pardon, that's for sure. Bet you never know, bet you never know. How we are like the badness, we are like the globe. Bet you never know, bet you never know. How we are like the badness, we are like the globe.
Multinational badness on the panel. Think a ramping thing, a top ranking thing. Hear that?
Bet you never know. Say we have the power, but there's things we touch the road. Tell them say we ready, clip them on the cut she load. Shoulda know say we no regular, anything we ready for. Bet you never know, bet you never know. Nah go take no talk, I beg no pardon, that's for sure. Bet you never know, bet you never know. How we are like the badness, we are like the globe. Bet you never know, bet you never know. How we are like the badness, we are like the globe.
If I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even to realign. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, will you go away? It won't be as simple for you. Time won't change anything if I don't know how to breathe. The current that pushed against the tide. Maybe once, maybe twice, turned around to save the time. Now I know how to leave the side.
Well, it only took 3 days, eh?
True.
There's a learning curve.